The first round is finally over. Holy cow, the Eastern Conference sucked, but dang, the West was exciting. Welcome back to my 2020 NBA Playoff Prediction Series. Today we'll be going over my picks for the second round, but before we get started, please comment down below who you got getting through to the conference finals, like the video, and of course, subscribe. Now, back to what I was saying earlier. The first round in the East was dreadfully boring. 3 sweeps in a 5-game series. That is lame. Though I did predict each series victor correctly, the Raptors winning in 4 is the only one I got right to the T. Meanwhile, in the West, we were treated to some phenomenal basketball. 2 7-game series, a 6-gamer, and a 5-gamer. All incredibly competitive throughout. I was correct with 6 of these matchups, nearly 7, putting me at 6-2 throughout the first round in total. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. And before you say it, I do realize this video is not going to be released until the Eastern Conference teams have all played at least 2 games in their matchups. But don't blame me too much, blame their lack of talent. Now, with all that out of the way, let us get to the predictions. As of me typing this series is 2-0, so I will go from here. Both of these teams looked great in their opening matchups, completely making their opponents look like they do not belong in the NBA. One thing I have been annoyed by online is a handful of NBA YouTubers saying Giannis Antetokounmpo cannot be a number 1 on a championship chasing team for whatever reason. Through the first 7 playoff games, he has averaged an astonishing 28 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists per game, shooting 57% from the field and 37% from deep. If that is not a superstar 16-gamer talent, then I don't think there is such a thing. The problem has been the team's number 2. Chris Middleton only averaging about 17 a night, shooting 39% from the field. That is unacceptable. For the Bucks to win the series and keep their hope of retaining Giannis alive, they need Middleton to step up big time in the second round. Miami, meanwhile, has been clicking. Both Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic have been playing like stars, looking to etch their names into the Hall of Fame. Butler with 22 4-4 and 2 steals, and Dragic with 23 4-4 and 1 steal. These two have led the way, but the rest of the Heat's roster has been majorly impactful. The young trio of Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Duncan Robinson I want to point out because they are making a name for themselves in the league. This has been and will continue to be an entertaining matchup. So much is on the line right now, and whoever comes out on top here will greatly shift the future of the NBA for years to come. I have the Miami Heat winning in 5 games. 1 upset out of the way, shall we make it 2? Eastern Conference 2 versus 3, Toronto Raptors versus Boston Celtics. Both of these teams dominated their opponents in the first round. The Celtics even kicked the Sixers into contemplating blowing up their roster. It was really fun to watch. I have said this once and I will say it again, Toronto lacks a superstar. Nobody on the team averaged 20 a night in their first round throttling of the Nets. I think the 2 most intriguing players to watch in this series for the Raptors are Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. 2 25-year-olds looking to make a name for themselves as the best players on a championship-chasing team. But I doubt this. 19-7 with 2 steals is nice for VanVleet, but the team needs more, and at a higher efficiency than just 43% from the field. And Siakam at 18-7-4 has been accompanied by an atrocious 39-25% shooting split. That is not good. Throw in Kyle Lowry being a shell of himself, this team may be in trouble. Meanwhile, the Celtics are having the opposite fortune. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker have all made up for the absence of Gordon Hayward due to injury, scoring 27, 22, and 19 respectively. Plus, they have Marcus Smart and Daniel Tice coming up huge for them defensively, which is exactly what I predicted. Boston has too much going for them. I have the Celtics winning in 5 games. To the Western Conference, 1 versus 4, LA Lakers versus Houston Rockets. Both of these teams upset my predictions, so good for them. After a rough Game 1 against the Blazers, the Lakers have seemingly figured it out. Anthony Davis and LeBron James have been monsters. 29-9 for Davis and 27, 10, and 10 for James are video game numbers. I am just worried about everyone else on the roster. The team cannot shoot. Amongst all the clubs remaining, the Lakers are dead last in three-point shooting percentage. Mix this with their tendency to get stagnant in the half-court set, this is a big problem. Thankfully, their defense has been remarkable, and considering the height advantage, this should keep up. The Rockets, meanwhile, barely avoided an explosion of their franchise. Can you imagine what we would be talking about right now if OKC would have pulled that off? If only. Anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing Russell Westbrook and James Harden take on LeBron and AD. This could be one of the best 2 versus 2 playoff battles we could ever see. The Rockets have a deeper team, so a cold night by a star is not nearly as devastating. But they only rank above the Lakers in three-point shooting as a team, which is not a good trend for a franchise so heavily relying on small ball. I have the Lakers winning in 6 games. Finishing things off, we have the number 2 versus number 3 LA Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets have been awoken in the first round. Jamal Murray specifically has played like a man possessed, averaging an amazing 31, 5, and 6 on 55 and 53% shooting. Yes, he went 32 of 60 from deep in the first round. Those are video game numbers. Along with him, Nikola Jokic has been fantastic, putting up 26, 8, and 5. But I would be a fool to not comment on his lackluster defense against Gobert. Thankfully, the Clippers do not have a center of that talent level to give him the troubles. Then you have the sharpshooting and versatile Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. also making positive impacts offensively with a whole slew of role guys. I really like this Nuggets team. The same cannot be said about the Clippers, who in only 6 games became the villains of the postseason thanks to a physical and definitely dirty Marcus Morris, a trash-talking Montrezl Harrell and Patrick Beverley, and of course, everyone's favorite playoff P himself, Paul George. This is not good. I must say though that Kawhi Leonard was overlooked by YouTubers for his efforts in the first round. 32, 10, and 5 with 2 steals per game on 53% shooting, along with some bad refs, is how the Clippers took down the Mavericks. So who wins this battle of good versus evil? I am going with the Denver Nuggets winning in 7 games. So there you have it, my 4 finalists headed to the NBA Conference Finals. So much history is being made right before our eyes. I would love to read your guys' opinion down below on who you have winning, or maybe how wrong I am. Trust me, I read every comment. One more time for the road, please comment, like the video, and of course, subscribe. I will see you all next time.